Forza Horizon 5 Unlocked, where it is my absolute honor to sit with you over the next few hours and essentially launch Forza Horizon 5. You are the voice actor for Ramiro, and you are actually joining us live from Mexico.
I personally love my country. I am very excited to show you how it feels, all the colors, all the flavors, to guide you by the hand as a player and express the feelings that people from Mexico have for our home.
Yeah. Forza Horizon 5 is now unlocked in Japan. If anyone is watching and hasn't noticed the time, you can play it yourself now, so off you pop. Well done.
Get some big air off.
Yeah,
this.
especially with these accolades on the side, the option. Oh my, right. That was phenomenal.
Just casual backflip.
Yeah, just as you do.
Right.
There you go.
Wow.
I worked
Into
on
the
this
plaza.
as well.
Yeah.
It's where it's the fountain of the frogs.
Oh, nice.
Welcome,
I
Ellen.
think you do
Thanks for
know.
joining
Hey, Alan.
Today is about playing, enjoying, celebrating, champagne.
What fantastic live content this is.
Everyone at Playground, everyone that had a part in it here at Turn 10. Thank you all to them.
Thank you, Playgrounds. Are you kidding me?
I know.
Are you
Can you guess
kidding
what
me?
he was inspired by?
Oh.
We got beached again.
Oh.
Sorry, G,
No,
can you do
you-
it?
you're
Come on,
good,
G.
you're
Yeah, very good.
What could be here?
Oh, God.
Oh!
Come on. Come on. Yeah,
Very good. I'm thanking Eric for that one.
They were higher here. Okay, high five for
let's
that
go.
one.
Let's go.
Don't go out the zone!
I
Don't
went
go
hard.
out the
Get the
zone!
board.
Ah!
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Very good.
Guys.
We're in the Bronco.
My heart.
Lovely stuff. This is so
Oh
good.
my gosh, Maddie, you're awesome. You're awesome. You're so awesome.
My heart is beating so hard that I think
No,
I'm
you're good.
gonna-
You're good. Come on, Maddie.
Oh my
Come on,
goodness
Maddie.
me!
Come on, Maddie. Come on, Maddie.
Is this?
Let's go.
My heart is beating so hard.
Thank you so much for tuning in today for the past few months. Adios, everyone. Bye-bye.
Hello, Forza fans. Welcome to the November episode of Forza Monthly. It's been a thrilling month with the launch of Forza Horizon 5, and we've got a full show in store for you today. So let's take a look at the schedule. Up first, Playground Games takes us through the Series 42 Festival playlist for Forza Horizon 4, and then we'll be taking a look at EventLab, a powerful new set of tools in Forza Horizon 5 that lets you create races and challenges beyond your wildest imagination. After that, I sit down with Netflix series Cobra Kai star and Twitch streamer Xolo Maridueña to talk through his Day of the Dead livery collaboration with Forza. And then it's a trip down memory lane with two Turn 10 legends as we reflect on 20 years of Xbox and Forza. And then I'll chat with Forza photographer Skxline in our community spotlight and wrap things up with Ali Tak's rundown of the latest community events. Oh, lots and lots to get to today. So without further ado, let's get started and let's give a warm welcome to Playground Games senior producer Tom Butcher. Hello, Tom. How you doing? Welcome.
Hey, Leah. Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah, welcome back. First Forza Horizon 5, Forza Monthly. It feels great. And of course, the big news is that Forza Horizon 5 is out and available and now on Game Pass. So congratulations. How does it feel? What's the vibe in the office right now?
Yeah, everyone's absolutely buzzing. It's been an incredible launch, staggering, really. And yeah, we've just been enjoying playing the game with the community and other players, seeing what people are up to. And yeah, and obviously we've been hard at work fixing up some bugs, addressing issues that players have been reporting. I know people are eagerly awaiting that update. We're hoping to get that out real soon. And yeah, we just appreciate all the support and feedback we've had from players in the community so far.
Great, amazing. I mean, I've been having a bunch of fun in Forza Horizon 5 myself this week. But before we get into EventLab and talk about that, let's start with Forza Horizon 4 because the content updates do indeed continue. So you've got a Series 42 in Forza Horizon 4 right now. So let's take a look at what's coming in that.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so the 50% of the series can get yourself a Horizon Backstage Pass. 80% you can get yourself the PR Stunt favorite, the Mosler. For summer, 50%, another Horizon Backstage Pass. And at 80%, you can get yourself the Benz 280 SL. Trial for the summer, Midsummer Mazdanis. Yeah, that's read better than said out loud, but yeah, we'll move on. And then rounding out the rest of summer, we've got Racing Through the Years. At the 50s, get yourself the Plymouth Fury, the Commuter Cup, you get yourself the Maserati Levante, and the Forest Run, get yourself the Lambo Reventon. Take a look at autumn, 50%, get yourself the VW Gear, 80%, get yourself the Porsche 928 GTS. The trial for autumn, out of retirement, get yourself the Auto Union Type D. That's a legendary car, super cool. And then the rest of autumn, we've got another Racing Through the Years, this time 60s. Get yourself a VW Notchback. Power on the Prairie, you can get yourself the Ken Block race suit. And Family Car Frenzy, you can get yourself the Lexus RCF. Then on to winter, 50%, the Aston Martin Vanquish 2017, and 80%, you can get yourself the Land Rover Velar. The trial for winter, toying with you, get yourself the VW Golf. Another Racing Through the Years, this time the 70s, get yourself a Porsche 914. Street Scene Stamina, get yourself the Renault Clio 2016, and Reaching Your Peaks, get yourself the Mini John Cooper Works buggy. Then at spring, 50%, you can get yourself another Horizon Backstage Pass. At 80%, the coveted Lambo Huracan P. Then the trial for spring, the Aston Martin Cup, get yourself the MC12 Corsa. And then finally, Racing Through the Years, 80s, get yourself a Forza Edition BMW M5, the Dirty Derby, get yourself the Hoonigan Escort, and lambing season, can get yourself a Lamborghini Aventador.
I hate it, thanks. Okay, so when will Series 42 be available for everyone to partake in the lambing season?
So yeah, Series 42 starts on Thursday, and yeah, some great stuff in there, some great cars. So look forward to that.
Amazing. All right, so let's shift to Forza Horizon 5 now, because I really want to talk about it. Before we get to EventLab, though, we asked you, the community, to send us your best Forza Horizon 5 celebratory liveries, and you did not disappoint. So yeah, we'll get there eventually. Take a look at what you sent in. Gorgeous. I always love seeing these some familiar names pop up in those montages. I can't talk
just
today.
Amazing.
Apparently. I know.
Yeah.
That's so good. Well, they can take photos and provide liveries better than I can talk, so that's good. So let's talk about EventLab, shall we? Which is a new feature in Forza Horizon 5 that just blows the door wide open for creators and players alike. So talk about what's possible with this new feature. I think if you've been playing Forza Horizon 5, you've probably seen a couple of EventLab things in the world, right?
Yeah. So UGC, it's a huge part of Forza, and with Forza Horizon 4, we introduced Super 7 Route Blueprint, which allowed players to create challenges, place props, and create routes. With Super 7, it's back in Horizon 5, but we've taken it to what we see as the next level with EventLab, which is a suite of creation tools, allows players to create everything from challenges to full game modes. And we've already been blown away by the things we've seen already, and yeah, we've had a lot of fun playing with it in the studio as well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that. So UGC, user-generated content, kind of puts the control in the hands of everybody, really, doesn't it? We've put a video that, well, we've got a video that you put together. In fact, we didn't, demonstrating some challenges. So let's take a look at what you've come up with here.
So today we're here to look at EventLab. EventLab is a suite of tools we're giving players to create their own races, game modes and game experiences. So here I am at a race activation point. I can enter any race activation that I want. And then the really fun stuff is that we can jump into Blueprint Builder, which is a prop library of hundreds of different props that we can then use to decorate or add interest to our route. And so we've got a whole bunch of these here. We've got pinatas, speed cameras, a whole bunch of different things. We've got different vehicles. So then you can jump into the rules of play screen and you can add rules. What you can do is you can set a trigger which is saying when this thing happens, in this case we're going to choose passing a checkpoint. And when this condition is true, so this is saying, and these conditions are met. So we're saying when this player passes a specific checkpoint. So we could say on the third checkpoint they pass, we want to perform an action, and we have a whole bunch of different things that we can have happen in the game. In this case, we can play a sound. So we can say we want the triggering player, i.e. the person who went through the checkpoint, and then we have a whole bunch of different sound effects that we can choose to play when that happens.
Okay, so this is an event that was created by Dave Orton on the Horizon game design team.
Dave has really kind of put his own stamp on it, added a whole bunch of different fun props and things to smash through, and just made it a unique experience to drive through.
Okay, so this time it's the Gauntlet of Fun again, but we're doing it in multiplayer, and Dave has added some additional rules.
Yeah, so now we've got a kind of scoreboard that's been added to the event, and we're incrementing the score by smashing into pinatas. So you can see, as I'm hitting these pinatas, my score is going up on the top left of the screen.
Okay, so this one is called Upgrade to Exit. Matt and Lennart have worked together on this one.
They've set up some custom rules here, so they've got chests found set to 0, and they've got an objective here telling us we need to collect all 3 chests to upgrade your car. You'll also notice that the car is moving a little bit slower than you might expect, so he's asked you to take the ramp. The finish line is on top of that, and unfortunately you're not able to reach a high enough top speed to make it over that ramp. So I guess we've got to go looking for some treasure chests, see if we can upgrade your car. So you can see after hitting that first chest, it now says chest found 1, but he's got 2 more that he needs to find in the world. And oh look, there's another treasure chest.
Sweet. And away.
And now suddenly your car is feeling a lot more quicker off the line.
Got a bit more punch now.
Because he's set a rule that says when 3 treasure chests have been found, it now puts the engine torque to maximum.
Boom.
And there we go, event complete.
So that's really just a taste of what is possible with EventLab. These are just some things that we've created in the office this week. We really cannot wait to see what you guys are able to create once you get your hands on these tools. I think really this is just the tip of the iceberg.
All right. I mean, look at how many parameters there are you can mess around with there to create your own lab. That's wild. But how is it different from Super 7 though, for everybody?
Yeah, so you can. We've obviously got we had route blueprint on Forza Horizon 4, and with EventLab you can take those routes, you can make them. So you've got rules of play, which is really the secret sauce that powers a lot of EventLab, where you can set various parameters. You saw in the video there, they were getting points for hitting things or limiting engine torque for doing other things. So it's a really powerful tool set. And as we see players use EventLab, the things players are requesting, we're going to continue to update that, add to the feature. For example, we know how important the ability to edit your EventLab creations is whilst you're creating. That's something we're working on, and please continue to share your feedback. We've got a great new EventLab section on the official Forza Discord for sharing your creation and tips with other players. And yeah, we're really excited where EventLab could go in the future.
Definitely. Now, if you've been roaming, as I mentioned earlier, you can definitely see some of those EventLab challenges pop up on the map. Are you going to do anything else to sort of feature EventLab creations?
Yeah. So we're going to be featuring the best and brightest EventLab creations from the community in our festival playlist each series. That's going to be a really fun way to share what everyone's been enjoying. And yeah, it'll obviously contribute to your playlist rewards. So yeah, look forward to that.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for joining us, letting us know about EventLab.
Thanks for having me.
Day of the Dead is an iconic Mexican tradition, and to pay homage to the holiday, Forza partnered with Cobra Kai actor and streamer Xolo Maridueña to design an authentic livery for Forza players. He and I chatted about the collaboration yesterday, and here's a little look at that conversation. So welcome, Xolo, to Forza Monthly. It's lovely to have you here with us. We've got a few questions for you today, so I'm looking forward to seeing your perspective on this. So welcome. What is Day of the Dead, and what does it mean to you?
So, Day of the Dead, also known as Dia de los Muertos, is a celebration of life, so to speak. I know it's called Day of the Dead, but it's, I guess, most similarly related to a holiday like Halloween, which I think, Halloween has a more of a fascination with like the scary or the horror parts of death, whereas
Yeah.
Dia de los Muertos and Day of the Dead is more about celebrating those who have passed on and kind of having a day to remember your lineage, remember your heritage, where you come from, but also celebrate those people that have passed on, and it's more of a happy thing, I'd say, than a scary or a sad thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it means. I mean, to me, it's for as long as I can remember, we've celebrated it. At home, we have a little altar or a kind of a setup where you have either pictures of people that have passed on or offerings that you want to make out to them. Sometimes, if you want to, I guess, for lack of a better word, manifest. You can kind of put things that you're, I guess, like anyone else would, if you're looking to pray towards something or stuff like that. But the visually, it's the bright colors and the flowers and
Yeah.
everything. It really is more of a vibrant holiday, so to speak.
So you actually had the opportunity to work with the Forza team to create a Day of the Dead livery. Was there any like specific particular imagery that inspired it?
Yeah, there definitely was. I think we had a few designs that we were thinking about, and this was the one that we ended up landing on. The marigolds are the in Aztec they're called cempasúchils. They are super iconic in terms of talking about Dia de los Muertos and Day of the Dead. And the hummingbird as well that you can see on the front and the side of the car. There's a big fable-like story. I won't get too much into it just because we could be here for hours, but I wanted to do more than just the skulls and kind of like neon colors that we see. I feel like that's already kind of been done
Yeah.
well, so to speak, in media and in movies and television and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to go for more of a deep cut here. The colors are definitely that of Dia de los Muertos and that vibrant kind of feel that I was talking to you about instead of the kind of
Yeah,
like
definitely.
dark, kind of gritty colors that we see in Halloween that are supposed to be horrific or scary and stuff
Yeah.
like that. This is definitely more of a lively, yeah, a lively livery. So
Yeah.
I was super excited to collaborate on this, and it really yeah, it reminds me of kind of the motherland, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a celebration. It's gorgeous. What was the like collaborative process like working with Forza and the livery artist to come up with this?
Of course, of course. It was super special. It was a little daunting. It's funny, I have seriously, I did not get the artistic gene when it came to, handheld drawing or stuff like that. So I didn't want to pretend like I was going to be able to draw any of this. I was definitely a little afraid at first. But getting
Mm,
to work with the artist in terms of getting my point across and saying, hey guys, let's do something a little bit deeper than surface level. We've seen movies and television shows and depictions of what this holiday means on camera. Let's do something a little bit more intimate, something that really feels like stuff that we can get behind. And
yeah.
the artist and the whole team over at Forza was super accommodating and super helpful. And really, I think they came up with an idea that I'm super proud of, and that I'm super happy for the rest of the world to see. And that feels like the essence of Dia de los Muertos, but also feels like it could be rocked on any other day of the year. So I was super excited about it, and the team was super great.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, you've nailed it, if I can say so myself. And we've touched upon the marigolds you got there, but like, what other design choices did you make, and what was their significance within this livery?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the colors themselves are these yellow, kind of purple, orange hues that you see are very apparent when you're looking at Dia de los Muertos, especially in Mexico. One of the most famous, I'd say, like tools used in Day of the Dead are the papel picados. Those are those papers that you cut up and you kind of hang them along either the sides of buildings or inside buildings.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to create something that the marigolds don't necessarily look like real marigolds, but they
Mhm.
kind of have that papel picado, looks like it could be cut out, or it's the geometric shapes are that of papel picado, and then the hummingbird comes from this tail of it's like a love story, so to speak, way back
Aw.
when, and I love it. There used to be
Yeah.
skulls on there, but it looked a little bit the design looked a little bit loud, so we decided to take the skulls out. But somewhere the artists have the deep cuts of what the rough drafts look like.
I mean, it's so balanced as well. It's gorgeous. I mean, how does it feel having your culture represented this way in a game like Forza Horizon 5?
I mean, it's super special, I should say. It is an honor to kind of wield the torch for a little bit, and I hope that this is just kind of the beginning. This new Forza game really is something. It feels like with each one, actually, they just get bigger and more grand, and with this design, feeling an authentic representation of what the holiday means is fun, and it doesn't feel like all right, let's just check off the box. Now we've done this holiday, yada, yada, yada. I really was super appreciative of the Forza team, and for being so helpful and really understanding the point that I was trying to get across when making this design. And it wasn't just like, all right, well, let's, slap some stickers on there, or let's, come up with the design last minute and just, whip one up together. Let's just look up what
Yeah.
Day of the Dead means. They really were willing and excited even to kind of learn more about the culture and learn more about the holiday, and that's something that I really appreciated, and that isn't that I don't take lightly. That isn't something that you see. It should be the bar, like it should be the bare minimum, but they really went above and beyond, and it feels so special to say that I was a part of this.
Yeah, and that's like you said, it feels very authentic. It doesn't feel novelty, and I think that's amazing. All right, my last question to you is, what excites you the most about playing Forza Horizon 5? Gotta ask.
Oh man. So I will admit I have a problem when it comes to wanting to slow down on these types of games. So I always end up crashing or whatnot. I'm really helpful. I'm really glad that you're able to, redo the courses as much as you want. But I think just getting to drive not only the new cars, but the older cars, I think is something that really, really excites me.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of cars. I have my own budding collection. I guess it's not super big right now, but I hope that as I get older, I can start to acquire more of a collection. But I think just being able to hear the cars and see like how cinematic the game is really, you're driving like next to waterfalls and doing all these crazy stunts and stuff like that. And I think
Yeah.
that's probably one of my favorite the like parts of the Forza games is really just how beautiful each year they come out with, and now I can say that I have a skin in the game, so I'm excited.
Yes. You have a part to play in it. I know. I mean, that's what's set. Like the set pieces, everything to do with the game. Everywhere you look, it's just stunning. It's gorgeous.
Exactly. Now I just got to get the real life version to drive around in.
Yes. Oh god, I'd love to see that on the roads. That'd be gorgeous. Final question. What does it mean for you for Forza Horizon 5 to be sort of based and oriented in Mexico?
I think it's really special. There's not a ton of games that really take place, or I guess there might be. I'm Forza, and there's a couple of other games that I play religiously, but as far as I'm concerned, the time that was taken to put into this game and really make sure that it's not just like, I don't know, it's not just like the Super Bowl where it's like, all right, now it's just in this place and we'll be here for a year and we'll be gone.
Yeah.
I think they really took the time to capture that authentic feel and really make sure that the game felt like it was taking place in Mexico instead of just, saying it was out there. I think is really special in the fact that it wasn't enough just to place it out there, that now we have stuff like this Dia de los Muertos, wrap on the car. And it means a lot to me to see the culture not only represented in game, because I think that's one thing, but represented accurately, I think, and authentically really is the crux of it all, and really
Yeah.
makes me excited for the future of video games and the inclusiveness. You see there's kids all around the world, kids, adults, however old, because these games really aren't for kids anymore. The graphics and it's definitely not for kids anymore. But
Yeah.
the reality of it is that there's so many people who play these video games that having the opportunity to see themselves represented on the screen, whether that be in television, movies, and now in video games, I feel like is so important, and wasn't really the case 5, 10, 15 years ago. So now that we can start really getting a grip, it's exciting to just be a small part of it. And I'm really happy that the Forza team allowed me to come in and make my suggestions and make this car, and I'm excited to see what the future is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Xolo. It's been wonderful talking with you.
Of course, of course. Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
Have a great day. The Day of the Dead livery is available to all Forza Horizon 4 and 5 players right now in your message center. So, if you haven't already, add it to your collections while you still can. We've also asked the community for their best photos of the livery in action, and here are some of our favorites. So yesterday was a historic moment in gaming as Xbox celebrated their 20th anniversary. I'm now going to be joined by two members of Turn 10 who've been around since those early days, Dan Greenawalt and Nick Wiswell. Welcome to the show. Hello.
Hi, Leah. Hi, Leah. Good to be here.
Hello. Great to have you both with us. So let's start with some introductions first up. So, Dan, hello. Remind everyone what it is that you do specifically at Turn 10.
Well, I'm the franchise creative director. That means I work with the teams at Horizon, Motorsport, Turn 10 Playground, and make sure that we're all pulling towards a similar vision for the Forza franchise. In a lot of ways, it just means I sit around and get inspired by really creative people. The teams are amazing.
There they are. And Nick, I don't believe we've had you on the show before, so welcome to Forza Monthly.
Thank you.
Tell us, what is your role as audio director of the Forza racing franchise?
It's my job to see the audio production and creation for Motorsport and Horizon, and also make sure that we've got all our technology and tools and the shared content we use between all the projects for audio all in place for all the games.
Dude, very small roles then. Just tiny parts. Right, well, let's go back 20 whole years then, shall we? The turn of the millennium. What were you both doing around that time? Dan, let's start with you. What was happening back then?
Well, interestingly enough, I had really just started working in games. I started in games in '97. I was a contract tester working on a basketball game, actually with Bonnie Ross, who heads 343. So she was a PM and I was a contract tester, and worked on a few Madness titles back then too, like Midtown Madness, and Motocross Madness, and Monster Truck, like all the Madnesses. I was sort of involved in one way or the other, and as the original Xbox was being discussed, I shifted into a sort of hybrid role where I was really working closely with Bizarre Creations on Project Gotham Racing.
Okay, yeah. And if you watched the Xbox live stream yesterday, Bonnie Ross was on that live stream as well. It's like, that's so sweet. And what about yourself, Nick?
I was also early in my career. I started in '99, and I'd started off down a production path, but Project Gotham Racing was the first game I'd got to do audio all up, having been involved in bits along the way.
So yeah, I was at Bizarre Creations in Liverpool, heading up the sound team to build the sound for Project Gotham Racing. Another interesting Halo twist there is my audio programmer, who we worked with very closely at the time, is now at 343 and just shipped Halo yesterday. So there's a lot of sort of cross Halo, Gotham, Forza tie-ins.
Yeah, it's all connected. I mean, and yesterday as well, if you watched the show, you'll have seen a lot of Project Gotham Racing. And that seems to be what kind of links a lot of this in the early days together. So with that in mind, how did you two meet? I know the answer already.
Well, Microsoft was partnering very closely with Bizarre Creations. And in many ways, it was because of the way that PGR came about. So Metropolis Street Racer was on Sega Dreamcast. And Sega was kind of getting out of the Dreamcast business, and there wasn't a lot of attach. And there was this new piece of hardware, the Xbox. And as far as I understand, I think it was a mutual meeting between Martin Chudley, who ran Bizarre Creations, and some of our people over at Microsoft to bring Metropolis Street Racer over to the Xbox, utilize the power, utilize the hard drive. There was a lot of really cool capabilities. And also it was basically like developing more for Windows than it was developing for, PlayStation or some of the other consoles, which made it relatively easy to code for. So we started working on Project Gotham Racing, and I was kind of, I guess, early in career, which made it easy to move. So I just packed up things, and I ended up being in Liverpool for nearly 3 months, lived in a flat, commuted with the guys that worked there, and just worked there. And I met Nick. He was the audio guy, so he had his own office, whereas everybody else was kind of in the pit in the middle. Nice. And so we met there.
Kept separate from everyone else then, Nick.
Yeah, we make too much noise to be in a room with everybody else. Obviously, lots of speakers, lots of sound, so they stick us away from everybody. But no, it was, I came onto the project slightly later. I think I joined in April. But so like a lot of the core team who'd been coming over from Microsoft, we've been over a few times, met them, several ways. And it was a good time. It was a good time to be making games, super creative period when there was new hardware, there was a lot of excitement. It was a very small team. We only had like just over 30 people working on the game, which is tiny in comparison to where we are now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
we had a lot of people visit over there too. Kiki Wolfkill, who is also at 343, she was the art director that was helping us on that. So Kiki was living in Liverpool. I was living in Liverpool. So if you think about 5 people coming over to help the team from publishing on a 30-person team, it's actually increasing the number of people on the team quite a bit. And I was really fortunate. Martin took me under his wing in a lot of ways. I feel so blessed that he was willing to spend time with me. He had been making racing games for so long, and I don't think I would have been in a position to help the Forza team launch this amazing franchise if Martin hadn't really, shown me the ropes, cut my teeth.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing how it always comes together like that. So Nick, you sort of touched upon the small team size. And that's just probably one of the differences of making games like 20 years ago compared to now. But like, what was creating games even like back then? Was it quite different?
Not really. We was a smaller team. We had a small number of artists, a small number of programmers. An audio team of 2 people. So it wasn't really but the creative ideas, the way we thought about it, the way we brought these ideas together and tried to prototype things, it all follows a similar timeline to what we do now. Timelines are longer, teams are bigger, but PGR pretty much turned around in around a year, just over a year, because obviously it was based a lot on MSR that we'd made before, but we were adding New York, we were adding a bunch of new cars. We added Ferrari and Porsche, which was super cool. Yeah. So we it gave us the opportunity to really push the boundaries and try some new ideas in gaming. And from an audio perspective, I was super excited getting to work with these cars, to get to record these cars, working with loads of licensed music and radio stations and DJs, going to some of the radio stations in London, because we actually used real radio stations and real DJs.
Right.
So we got to record all of them. Yeah, it was a super cool and exciting time to be making games.
Yeah. Wow. And Dan, what about yourself? What's your perspective on that?
Well, I think one thing that's worth noting is that Project Gotham Racing had such a unique perspective on racing. It was really a fresh take. And so whether you're talking about the kudos system, which allowed you to win through either speed or style, you didn't actually have to win with speed. You could drift around and do combos. And in many ways, it was inspired by Tony Hawk. So there was a Tony Hawk game that's now been remade. The remastered version is fantastic. Yeah. But that idea that you could turn a car into a skateboard. And so the kudos system brought in that really cool element. And then as Nick mentioned, having radio stations, it gave you a sense of place. And it even had a dynamic weather and time of day system. Well, it wasn't dynamic in the race, but we could set the time of day based on where your console was. It was a cool idea. It hadn't been thought through all the way, I got to admit, because it means if you play every night and you're on the Pacific coast, you only experience San Francisco at night, and you never experience the day. So it was a unique idea, and the game was full of them, just incredibly unique ideas. I think that one even featured customizable camera placement. Maybe that was PGR2. But yeah, just so many cool, unique thoughts. And that being a launch title just showed a new bar in many ways for what a launch title could be.
I mean, that was going to be my next question. What was so unique about Project Gotham Racing? And it sounds like it's almost everything. Is there any more examples?
Well, I also think what's incredible is just there have been a lot of changes. So yeah, game development in broad strokes is very similar. The teams are much bigger. We have many more processes. And in a lot of ways, the rigor of great software development and great project management had to scale in making games in a way it didn't before. Everyone wore lots of hats. And now, there's real roles and people have tremendous expertise. It could be in machine learning, AI. I mean, really, really deep expertise, including Nick. I mean, honestly, I think it's hard to understate the impact Nick has had in his career. And he would, of course, never state it. He's humble in English and all of that. And I'm an American Cocker Spaniel, so I'm just going to get all excited. But, Nick has had a tremendous impact on the industry because he has worked with the platform teams to make it better for all developers, to make things for the Xbox and for Windows and the like. And of course, he's just a mentor for a lot of audio people around the industry, which is incredible. Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying was the process of making this game has just scaled and has gotten much bigger. And when you think about the scale of even games today, Project Gotham Racing had 29 cars. It's shocking. Like the thought of a game with 29 a racing game with 29 cars today is just what? It's incomprehensible. Yeah. But it worked in that game. And so it was full of innovation, top to bottom. There were cool ideas and the team was working so hard together. It was a really cool environment. I remember I had more hair then, but I remember getting my hair cut actually at Bizarre Creations. I think it was the receptionist, Shell, was that her name? Yeah. She would cut people's hair and we got groceries and we ate at the office and, we were just there all the time. And it kind of felt like a college atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It very much, the small team brings a sense of family. Everyone, their lives, their relationships and the people they're with, their kids. It was a super cool time. Very different to some of the larger teams now, where sometimes I go to the office and I don't recognize half the people anymore because the teams are getting so big.
Mm. Yeah, I imagine that must be quite the contrast. Project Gotham Racing was a launch title for the Xbox. What goes into shipping a game at launch? Because I imagine it's so much bigger than you could even comprehend when you're not involved in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shipping a launch title is incredibly difficult. And, we've been involved, members of Forza and Playground, Turn 10 and Playground have been involved in the launch of a lot. So Project Gotham Racing, the first one was there for the original Xbox, and then Project Gotham Racing 3 was there for the launch of the Xbox 360, another incredibly innovative game. And then Forza Motorsport 5 was there at the launch of the Xbox One. Forza Motorsport 7 was there for Scarlet or the Xbox One X. And then we did a massive update to the engine and how Forza Horizon 4 showed up for the Xbox Series X. So, we've just been there, kind of all the time, trying to prove out the technology and help the development of the console and the XDK, the developer kit. Make it a better ecosystem for everybody, but also to show, what is possible with this console. And that means trying to land everything simultaneously. The console's coming together. We don't necessarily have hardware. Things or development kits are coming in. Like, it's pure chaos. And you have to love a little bit of chaos to do it. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. I find it's massively invigorating. And it comes from a passion, a passion for making games, a passion for delighting players and delighting customers, for building community. And that merger of great technology and artistry, bringing those things together, you have to love it, because it will absolutely grind you out otherwise.
Yeah. I can't even begin to comprehend the amount of investment you have to have personally in it to see it through, because there's just so many. And like you said, you wear a lot of hats, right? Especially in the earlier days, it was a case of not specializing and having to do a lot of things. And I imagine that probably contributes a lot to the chaoticness of doing a launch title in that time. But the first Forza Motorsport then came out in 2005, which really feels like a long time ago and not long all at the same time, and is horrifying. But how did Project Gotham Racing pave the way for Forza?
Well, it's a great question, and it kind of gets into some of the business side of what works on games. So Project Gotham Racing was an amazing game and incredibly innovative. It was almost the perfect launch title. It had that right amount of innovation and scale, and it used the hardware. But the belief was we needed something as a business to take on Gran Turismo. Now, Gran Turismo at the time, with the PlayStation 2, was not just the king of racing games. It was beyond that. It was actually the halo of Xbox. So it was a really massive deal. And we believed that we actually needed something to take that on. So that meant developing a new team or finding a team to build it. And a small group of us, 4 of us, got together and pitched this game. It was really meant to be a modern take on Gran Turismo, embracing some of the LA culture of car customization, as well as what was called at the time Web 2.0. Now you would call it user-generated content. So we were going to bring those ideas and then really utilize that Xbox hardware. It had a hard drive, it had a NIC card, it had all this incredible innovation. So we pitched this game, and I just happened to have found our original pitch a couple of, I guess it was maybe.
No way.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And I read it, and I was just like, "This is horrible." It was horrifying. And
was it like a Forza almost didn't happen kind of horrifying?
Exactly. As I read it, I thought, I would never give these fools money. Not in a million years. Never. And Ed Freeze and the group that was running Xbox at the time, they took a chance on us as a team, and they funded us. And that was really the birth of Forza Motorsport. And as that success, we gained success with Motorsport 2 and Motorsport 3, and we had so many failures. We learned so much. I mean, that's why I love this stuff. Like failing and learning and moving on, like that learning curve is so awesome. Yeah. But then working with Playground Games, the franchise is just, every single year. And now with Forza Horizon 5, like, oh my God. Anyway, I'm dominating this conversation. I got to say, Nick has also been there at the launch and has seen all of these movements go. I mean, when did you come on a motorsport, Nick?
That's my question.
So I officially joined Turn 10 in 2010.
Yeah, so you've been there for a long time.
So I've been there 11 years, but back in the early days, there was a lot of sort of collaboration at various levels between Bizarre Creations and Turn 10. So I remember talking to the former audio people at the beginnings of Forza Motorsport and Motorsport 2. And we discussed how we made car sounds, how we recorded cars, and tried to share a lot of ideas so we could, in many ways, share a library between the two games. We were both making car games. We both wanted great sounding cars. So could we find a shared way to record a car so we could both build it and support the needs of both games, which were very different? And that's really not that different to how Turn 10 and Playground work together today. We're building a huge library of shared content between the two studios. So there's a lot of crossover between how things work then and how things work now between those two big Microsoft racing games.
Right. A lot of lessons learned that you could just bring forward. It's really cool. And it's cool to see that so many of those practices are still a thing now from all those years ago. It's still bring it forward. I mean, and you fast forward to today, and Forza's a critically successful franchise. You've got 12 titles on Xbox, including the newly launched Forza Horizon 5, and you got a 13th title in development with Forza Motorsport. I mean, Dan, what do you think has made Forza such a successful franchise?
Well, I think at its root, what it comes down to is building community. I think what links all of the games from back in that original pitch all the way to now was the belief that car culture and gaming culture could merge, and we could use technology, we could use innovation, we could use ideas to bring these groups together. And we've made mistakes, we've had some innovation, we've had successes, like we've had all of that. And I love that our community has been with us that whole time, giving us feedback at times, positive and negative, but always building that passion. And we feed off that passion. So, it's this cycle where we as entertainers want to delight our players and our community and build that community up. So that's kind of on the front end, building that big community. But on the back end, I think what's made us successful is that commitment to trying new things, innovating, and having two teams that aren't meant to be the same, and two expressions of the Forza franchise that are not meant to be the same. They're meant to be complementary. So innovations come into Horizon with the Playground team, and then the Motorsport team looks at that and says, oh, I see how we could use that. It could be a piece of rendering technology or audio technology. It could be something the player doesn't even realize that we're sharing.
Yeah.
But those two expressions, Motorsport's about competition, putting a car through its paces, true mastery, and a skill gap between players. And Horizon, it's about exploration, fun, freedom, the open road. It's amazing. So we're redoing a lot of how we build our games now. You look at how Horizon 4 was supported and grown with a community, new massive features like Super 7 and Eliminator coming into it. And then the way that Horizon 5 is going to be supported with the community. Motorsport as well, it's being developed in a new way. The community's voice is inherent. It's integrated into everything we do. And we're rethinking so much of the game to stay true to that heart of competition while doing new ideas that push the genre forward.
Yeah. I mean, Nick, what about yourself? What do you think has made Forza such a successful franchise?
One of the reasons I was super excited to join Turn 10 is just the passion of the team for the game that they make. The love of cars, the love of racing, the love of making great video games and great video game experiences. That's one of the things that really enticed me to ship my entire family 5,000 miles and come and work at Turn 10. I love motorsport. Obviously, I wasn't a huge car nerd when I started out in gaming, but PGR through Forza and Blur in the middle have sort of really ignited a passion for cars in me, and especially the way the cars sound, because obviously that's my job. So working with engineers and various people at car manufacturers to understand why cars sound the way they do, and the fact that we've now got technology that allows us to build that, even to the point where some car manufacturers are now talking to us about how we make our cars sound.
Wow,
in a world of electric cars, they want to try and add sound to cars, and they're now learning from us.
I'm sorry, that's just blown my mind. That's so cool. What an amazing impact to have.
Things have changed so much. I mean, just thinking back, like at the launch of PGR, there was no content updates, there was no UGC, there was no live support. The game went out on a disc, and that was it. You were done. So it was a very different way of making games. But the advances that we've made have been huge.
Yeah. It just keeps going. It's never ending every time. So advancements every single release. Well, it's been an amazing discussion. Thank you so much for joining us both on, or joining me on the show, you both today. Thank you so much. And congrats on the last 20 years. Here's to 20 more.
Thank you, Leah. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Leah.
You can celebrate Xbox's 20th anniversary with this commemorative livery in Forza Horizon 4 and 5. Look at it. There it is. All the games on there. It's so pretty. Download it from your in-game message center and enjoy driving it on the Porsche 918 Spider right now. So our community spotlight is up next, and today I'm talking to Skxline, who is a wizard when it comes to capturing mood in Forza photography. Take a look at some of his work. It's the community spotlight, and hello, Skxline. Welcome to the show today.
Hi.
Hello, it's a pleasure to have you with us. So you shoot some amazing photos in Forza. So let's start by asking, how did you get into Forza photography, and when did you start?
So I started taking photos on Forza Horizon 3 4 years ago. And in the beginning, I just wanted to show my cars to my friends, and I created an Instagram account for this. But over time, I noticed that my photos was quite beautiful, and I started to work on this.
Yeah, they are though, and I mean the ones that we've got some right now actually that we're going to look at, which are some of the ones you've taken most recently in Forza Horizon 5. So what have you been enjoying about taking photos in the new game in particular?
So the new game is really, really cool. And the map is very different compared to Forza Horizon 4. I think the new sunnier side corresponds better to Horizon game. And for my part, I have the game on Xbox One S, and I think the graphics are pretty good. And there is also some cool new cars like the Renault Forel or the Lotus Evija, and the body kits, the new body kits are very good too. And the best surprise is this new feature on the Root Creator, and this is really, really good.
All right, lots of things to enjoy then. I mean, looking at these pictures, has the new setting sort of changed or inspired your approach to the photography?
The new setting inspires me a lot because I think that this environment is more various than the environment of Forza Horizon 4. I didn't like so much wet forest or big green fields. And in this game, the big city of the map is really cool and colorful, and I think I will take a lot of photos in this place. The fact that we can't have snow on the entire map is a good thing for me because I was bored to see the same white landscape during an entire week. And I'm more familiar with the sunny vibe, like we can see with this photo of the Supra.
Yeah, absolutely. You use the sunlight masterfully. I mean, and it's understandable you don't like the snow because you'd like to use a lot of color in your photos. So you've actually got some from a series you did called World of Color. What was the idea behind this?
I wanted to create a series of colorful photos recalling spring, and I found it was a good idea to put yellow and green cars in different colored fields, often with flowers. And yellow and green are the main colors of the Forza Horizon 4 landscape. And I decided to match the cars with this, and I put them in the middle of the flowers to add more colors to the photos. And I wanted the scenery and the atmosphere to be as important as the car in this series of photos.
Yeah, they really do pop as well. The cars really do pop. It's really nice. And this isn't your only series. You've actually done a second series as well, maybe even many series. But one of the ones we're going to look at is from the Elegance contest. So tell us more about that. There it is.
So here in France, we have an elegance contest named Chantilly Elegance Contest, and it took place in the garden of the Chantilly Castle. And we can see some of the most expensive car, rare car, and very old car. And I've never been to this meet, but I've seen it every year at the TV while watching car TV show. And I just wanted to recreate the same vibe, and I recreate this in Forza. So I took that this castle was perfect, and I took 6 of the most expensive cars of my garage to take the sticks.
Amazing. All right, so these are your photos from in-game, but you don't just take photos in-game, do you? You also take photos in real life. But which one came first? Were you an in-game photographer first, or?
So my first experience was in Forza, because at first I would take pictures of cars in real life in the street or by car meeting, and that was just to keep memories. And but 2 years ago, I was already doing a lot of photography in Forza, and I wanted to do this in real life. So I asked for for my birthday for a Nikon, and since this moment, I'm an IRL and IRL photographer.
Okay, all right. And is there any place you go in particular in real life to take these pictures?
Yes. So most of the time, I go to car meet in my city. It's often on Sunday, but the rest of the week, sometimes I go out with my girlfriend or my best friend to take pics of cars in the street, like this Fiat, for example. And more rarely, I contact car owners to photograph their cars during an afternoon, for example.
Oh, okay, all right. So you go hunting for them and you just sort of roam around and find them on the streets. But you're also part of a photography group. And the photos, we've got some photos here actually that are from some of the members of your group. So tell us about Rough Sessions.
So we are a team of virtual photographers, and for the most part, we met thanks to Forza. And the team was created in 2014, and we are mainly French, but we also have members in Russia, Germany, Belgium, Spain, Gabon, and Switzerland. And our great strength is the proximity between each of our members. So we play and take pictures together often because we are a group of friends above all.
Okay, all right. So do you have like a goal as a team then? Is it something you'll work towards?
So our goal is to be the reference in virtual automotive photography. We are very inspired by Speed Hunter Media in IRL photography, and we want to create the same enthusiasm around us in virtual photography.
Okay, and where can we see more of your photos then as Rough Sessions? Oh,
Yes.
can we see any more of your pictures anywhere? Have you got them on social media?
Yes. So we have an Instagram account, and this is, for example, a pic from my best friend Lucas shot with this Lexus RCF.
Wow, yeah. So your Instagram is, what's your Instagram handle? And then people can find you.
Okay. So my Instagram is Skxline. I have Skxline shots for the IRL photography and Web Media for IRL work session photography and work sessions account.
There we go. All right. If you want to follow Skxline for some incredible photography, then you can find him there on Instagram. These photos are amazing, and it's been great talking with you today. So thank you for joining us on the Community Spotlight.
Thank you to you.
Have a great day. And you can nominate your favorite Forza content creators for a chance to appear in a future Community Spotlight on Forza Monthly. Just let us know who they are and what you like about their work at aka.ms/Forza Spotlight. So our community rundown is up next. Ali couldn't be here live, but don't worry because he and I sat down yesterday to go over the latest events, and here it is. We are back with Ali Tak. Hello, how you doing? Do you hate it every time I start the segment? I know there's always something I have to say.
It's good. I'm always excited to hear which adjective I'll get this time round.
Oh yeah,
it's fun.
Sorry to disappoint you this time around then. All right. So last month we discussed Team Wars, and I hear you have an update on that.
Yeah, so straight in, Forza Horizon 5 has got a sort of competitive side to it. There's lots of people out racing and sort of trying to see who their fastest people are in the game. And Team Wars is one of the places where people do that. Team Wars put up competitions where 3 or 4 drivers per team will go up head-to-head against each other and try and find out who the fastest team out there is. And Right now, we're working on getting an exhibition event together. We'll be streaming it live here on the Forza channel. I think the date for that will be a couple of weeks' time on the 27th of this month. So very, very soon. We're still getting sort of the final bits of track sorted out and all the sort of technicalities in line. So it might ended up getting pushed out by a week, maybe. But hopefully, just a couple of weeks' time, we'll be racing.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, excellent. So that's Team Wars. And another group we've actually been talking about a lot is Delta Racing Online. So they've also got another fun event coming up. Is that right?
Yeah, so this is over on the Forza Motorsport 7 side of things, and Delta Online Racing, DOR, are staging what they're calling the ORL Touring Car Reunion or something like that, which is a look back to a popular touring car league from maybe, I don't know, a few years ago now. It's been a while. I used to call those races alongside my buddy Mellish, and the two of us would chat over the touring car racing,
Oh, I know
and it was super
Mellish,
popular
yeah.
at the time. You know Mellish, yeah. So at the time, super popular, and so they're kind of bringing it back, some kind of reunion tour. So yeah, that'll be fun. We're going to check out, see how it goes with signups. I think if you guys are keen out there, then get signed up over with Delta Online Racing. That's deltaonlineracing.co.uk, and yeah, get out there racing on Forza Motorsport 7.
All right. So what else have we got going on then? What's happening in the world of Forza?
Yeah, a couple more things to call out this week. One of them is Team Revolution. This is actually over on Forza Horizon 5 again. I think there's, everyone's playing through the main game right now. The game's just come out, so there isn't a huge amount of community events happening just yet. But I wanted to shout out kind of the early adopters, if you like, the people who are already out there doing it. That's Team Revolution. They're putting up drifting competitions right now, which is going to be pretty cool. I think you guys can check them out on Twitter. And someone else to look at is Mesosphere, who's a big streamer on Twitch. And so you can check him out there. And he's putting together casual racing Mondays. He's been running racing on Forza for a long, long time. So Mesosphere is someone else you can check in with the CRM every single week.
Alrighty. Okay. All right. So while everyone's been playing through the base game, the story of Forza Horizon 5, we've got a few events going on still, haven't we? So let's check out the event calendar and see what we've got on the radar.
So yeah, we've got a packed month full of cool events to check out. Round 8 of the late night racing Ferrari GT World Challenge is on the 20th. There's the ORL TCC Revival we were talking about just the day after, and there'll be one race a week after that. HTCC, so more touring cars coming in from FTC Racing, and also a World Truck Championship, week 5 of that. I love truck racing. I think it's awesome. It's kind of ridiculous if you ever see the massive machines going side by side on a track. So yeah, definitely get involved with that if you guys are feeling it. Racing Buddies Historic Motorsport are still at it with the Time Travel Trophy. This is round 8. And then finally, Sunshine League coming through with Silverstone Endurance. This is actually in early December rather than November, and you guys can sign up for that. If you're getting sort of the itch, Toro have finished their endurance calendar, you want to get out there, do some team racing and get some sort of some really long stints in there, Sunshine Endurance might just be the place to do that. So check that out.
So that was the community events calendar. Thanks for running through that. Now, before I let you go, I've heard you got a little bit of a weekly livery competition going on right now. What's that all about?
Yeah, it's a new competition that I've been sort of putting together. This is just in its second week already, so very, very early on. Every single week, I've been picking 6 liveries from the Forza community, whether that's from the Horizon side of life or people who are painting on motorsport. And what happens is they sort of get featured in game. So new liveries from the creators, might put them up on Twitter, but put them on Instagram or even on the forums. I'll sort of spy them and grab them, and then they get featured in the game, which means that when people buy the car, it becomes one of the suggested liveries that they could pick up, which is quite nice for the painters because it means they get extra kudos, extra downloads in game and all that kind of good stuff. And it's good for me and anyone who wants to check out the stream or the thread as well, because you get the best looking garage in Forza. That's what I'm working on having anyway, not to brag.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, it's completely. It's what it's always ever been about. Yeah.
Oh
from the
yeah,
start.
100% style. All right, so if you want your livery to be noticed, then and potentially get recommended in game, then just bug Ali on Twitter, at him on Twitter, or post in the forum threads, or make sure it's just thrown in front of Ali, and you never know what might happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and it's a lot of fun. It's been cool seeing how creative everyone is as well. We've got such a great community, so it's nice to be able to feature them in a bit.
Yeah, I love buying a new car and then seeing all the liveries and just like having a little window shop, like, some really creative ones already.
Like, shall I have a red one, or should I make it look like a racing car, or maybe I'll get like one with some anime on it, or
Yeah.
there's always so much like variety. It's great.
There's so many anime ones. I love it. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, Ali, for this community roundup, and we'll see you next time.
All right, cheerio.
That is all we have for you today, but there's more Forza streaming coming up this week, of course. So let's check out the stream calendar. You could join John Iwana over the next 3 days as he continues his romp through Mexico in Forza Horizon 5. And if you want an authentic tour of Mexico in Spanish, join Mexican streamer Eternitum on Sundays for Forza Mingo. And we hope you enjoyed the show today. Thank you to all of our guests for making the time, and all of you near and far for watching today. Thank you. We'll see you next month. Goodbye.